Happy weekend, everybody. Hope you're well. We're going to start with just two little simple upper body exercises. They're more specifically for your neck and then a bit of a nerve glide. So it's kind of the equivalent of doing those hamstring extenders. I'm still got my socks on. Hamstring extenders that we do for the leg, where we're mobilizing some muscle, but we're actually mobilizing the nerve as well, which is quite important. So we're going to start with them, and then we're going to do some lower body stuff. So I'm just going to chuck in some upper body stuff as we go. Now, you can do this standing, but just so that I don't need to move my camera around, I'm going to do it kneeling down. Equally, you could do this sitting as well. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take one hand and I'm kind of going to kneel on it. So all I'm doing is I'm anchoring it. So if you were sitting, all I'd say is sit in your hands like that. Okay. I'll anchor it down, and then I'm going to tilt my head to the opposite side. Now, the reason that this is anchored is when I turn my head, this arm's going to lift, which is actually allowing the shoulder to lift. So by just pinning that down, it's just going to stop the shoulder from lifting. And all I want you to do is tilt your head to the side, so ear to shoulder first of all. And then I want you to look either to the left or to the right, so that you're doing a no action, until you find a spot that feels a wee bit tense, a wee bit tight, a wee bit tender. Then we're going to do a muscle release for the upper trapezius. So we're going to take our hand over to the other side, to our other ear. And we're not pulling down. This isn't a stretch, it's a muscle release. So now what I've got to do is pull my head this direction. Okay, so one ear towards the shoulder. Now we're going to pull this other ear gently, 20% in the opposite direction. So this is my right ear, and I'm pulling it to the right, really gently, like 20%, and relax. You might find that it lengthens out a little bit, you might not, and you might need to kind of nod yes, no, whatever it is, to find wherever that stiffness, tightness is. And then you're going to gently pull in the direction of the tension. So for me this time, it's not directly across the shoulders, actually just slightly behind me. Again, we're holding that for about 10 seconds and relax. There's a nice wee bit there. So I just gently pull into that. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. So if you get any stiffness in your neck, this is great for letting it ease off. So again, I'm just going to use my shin to kind of pin this shoulder to the floor. It's super gentle, guys. Don't do this hard. It's not a stretch. I'm not pulling this side. I'm not closing this down. I'm bringing it across, but then I'm pulling across the way, back the way it came. So I'm going to find where it feels a bit tense. There we go, and I'm going to pull to the side really gently, 20%, holding it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. It might lengthen, it might not, and then just pull across, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Remember, don't pull this across. We're not stretching it. There's no need to stretch this muscle. Pulling it across again, so in that direction. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. So remember, guys, when we're doing a muscle release, all we have to do is lengthen the tissue slightly and then contract it. So this muscle runs from the shoulder up into the base of the skull. So if we tilt our head to the side, it lengthens it. We then have to shorten it in order to get it to relax and release and lengthen. You will see a lot of people like stretching this out. All that's going to do is cause it to rebound later on and get even tighter. So you might get a temporary change, maybe for an hour or so, but by releasing it, it should stay that way. So that is a muscle release for your upper trapezius. Next thing we're going to do is a nerve glide, okay, for your median nerve. Comes off the neck, through the shoulder, down through the arm. So what I want you to do is have your palm, we'll do it one side first, so palm facing forwards. I want you then to point your fingertips to the back as much as you can, and then I want you to push gently down towards the floor, okay? I always imagine I've got a balloon under my hand, and I'm just going to push that down. So I'm going to square back up to you guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 10 reps where we go down, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, heavily relax. You might have noticed some tingling in your fingers or up your forearm, into the shoulder, up the neck, or maybe none at all. Doesn't matter, we're still going to do it. But do this 3 times. This time what I do is push down, lift it out a little bit, and then we're going to go there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push it out, lift it up a wee bit. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As always, nice and gentle. Don't have to push it hard and all the rest of it. So palm facing forward, turn it, fingers back, so the finger point to the back through. And as you do that, as you do these reps, you'll want to go through there, back to here. Don't let that happen. Really keep it pulled back. What this does, it lengthens the median nerve, and then we're going to mobilize it. So pushing down, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push it down, lift it out a wee bit. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push it down, lift it out a wee bit. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. There we go. So we've done a muscle release for this big upper trapezius muscle. We've done some nerve glides to get that all moving. Great. Have a wee lay on your back. We've done knee rolls and shoulder rolls to start with. Cracking on. Remember, keep those feet and knees together. Don't let the upper body move. So upper body is kind of rib cage up. Fantastic. I'm going to mix it up today. I'm going to do my shoulder rolls. Let's call it knee rolls straight after. Shoulder rolls on all fours today, just for a change. So hands are underneath my chin. One hand comes to the side of my head. Thread the elbow through, then rotate. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Change sides. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to go into our frog straight away. So pick a side and just mobilize that hip a little bit. So a little bit more challenging than starting with hip circles, but we opted to do a little bit upper body, so we'll just need to skip the hip circles and hip hinges, and we'll just jump in with this. You might need to take it a little bit easier to begin with. Hopefully you guys aren't feeling too stiff or tight from last night's session. Hopefully you've had enough time to recover. Great, we're going to switch over to the other side now. So remember with these ones, guys, we'll try to keep the knee and the toes facing forwards, ideally, in order to be able to hit the muscles of the inner thigh, how we're trying to. If we do it with our toes up, it's not wrong, it's just doing something different. Now you might notice when you get to the very back, it starts to naturally want to roll it up. You can resist that a little bit, but all that means is you're just taking it to end range where then it's going to have to move for you to continue back. Brilliant. We're going to go into frog with both like this. So give yourself a wee shimmy, get those knees apart. and then we're just rocking back and forward. As before, your feet at the back might be completely parallel, or they might be in a wee bit an angle, totally fine. Other thing, remember, you might be more comfortable doing it down your elbows. I just find as well I get a more effective bit of mobilization being up on my hands, but play around, you know, I quite often do a bit of both just to hit it up and mix it up really. I'm hoping for you guys, you start to find this frog position easier. I never think it gets really easy, but it's not as horrible as if I haven't done it for a longer period. Make sure as well that you come forward, because you'll notice that there's maybe some stuff happening as you get forward there, so you can do more at this front range. Generally through the middle is just kind of opening up, but you might find like right at the very back there as well. That's when you've just got a wee bit sort of stiffness and tightness. Cool. We're then going to do a wee static passive version of that, which is basically this kind of butterfly type position. So hopefully now it's feeling nice and relaxed, so it doesn't feel too bad there. We're just going to let it relax to begin with. Taking one hand, we're just going to mobilize this hip joint. Okay, so you see it. There's a bit of play there. Okay, so we're just mobilizing the joint. We're not pushing it down hard. I don't really feel much stretch into the tissue. It's just a nice wee bit of mobilization around the joint, wee oscillation really. And then here we go to the other side. So I'm kind of just using the natural springiness of the joint. You can see like it only takes one finger to kind of bounce it up and down. I don't like using the word bounce related to any stretching type activity. It's pretty old school, that bounce, that dynamic. It's not that it's bad, it's just that it's very specific, and it's only really, the only time you should really be doing it is just prior to exercise, but you need to have done some other things as part of your warm up, and then you need to do some really sport specific movement with it as well. So now I'm just going to do both legs at the same time, but I'm going to use the muscles to do that. So contracting the glutes just gently to bring it up and down. It's, again, you might think it looks like a bit of bounce, but if I slow it down, you'll sort of see that I'm actively pulling it down, I'm actively lifting it up. I'm just doing that in a kind of sped up fashion. Cool. For here, we're going to bring one leg in and one leg out. We're doing our seated hamstring. So as always, we'll try to tilt that pelvis, like we'll try to tip water out the front and go down this leg. If you want to increase the effectiveness, try pulling those toes back. You'll feel a nervy stretch up the back. That's a lot of the time we will do our hamstring extenders before we start doing any hamstring work. It just frees off that sciatic nerve and just makes life a little bit easier. Again, you know, like I just do it automatically. I'm just using this opportunity just to mobilize my other foot. So I'm just working on the toes there. I've basically found the position where I'm happy stretching, and I'll just massage into my feet, I'll massage around about my knees or my hips. May as well just use this time to do other things. I often find from doing that, it just kind of takes my brain's attention away from what's going on in this leg, and it lets it relax it a little bit quicker. If that doesn't work for you, then do it. Remember, it's not about getting your chest or your chin down towards your knee. Think about up and away. You'll see a lot of impressive photos on Instagram and Facebook of people putting their head down to the floor and stuff. It's great, and yeah, they've got a fantastic range of movement, but it doesn't that's them demonstrating their flexibility. That's different to having an effective stretch. Once you've done your effective stretch and you want to demonstrate your flexibility, cool. That's how you sell. It's how you sell challenges like this. You've got to put photos up and you're doing the impressive stuff. If you put up posts saying do these really boring muscle releases, nobody would join. Great. We're going to roll on our side and we're going to do a quick stretch for the quad. So when we do our half kneeling position, we tend to get more of a hip flexor. So this is going to target more of the quadriceps. Quadriceps are the four muscles that run up the front of the thigh here. What I typically do is bend this bottom leg and grab onto it. It just gives me a bit of stability. Now, it's not about getting your heel to your bum. It's about getting your knee behind your hip. So don't worry if your heel doesn't touch your bum, but I just want you to pull that knee back a bit. And then we're just going to enjoy that stretch into the quadriceps. And just continue to pull it back behind you if you can. Great. Switch it up, other side. You can roll over if you like. Try not to tilt my back in the camera too much. Ooh, a bit tight this side. So every couple of breaths, imagine reaching your toes back behind you. Great. We're going to come up into a standing straddle to do a wee active. So don't go too deep too quick. Just come on up. Make sure you get the legs straightened out. What I always look to do here is I try and get my back straight. So rather than me being rounded this way, if you flatten your back off, you'll find that it then hits right into those inner thigh muscles, those adductors. And that's where I want to get. I find when I bend my legs and I tilt my pelvis the other way, it's a little bit easier. So targeting where we want. So we're now using a static active. Static, we're not moving. Active, because the muscles that we're stretching are also having to contract to hold us up. That builds strength, resilience, lets the nervous system know that they've got that capacity. And we're just going to hang it for a wee second. And if you like, every so often you can let it slide apart. Key here is just don't go down too quick. Just should be about a 4 out of 10 the whole time. And we've done about sort of 30 odd seconds now, 40 seconds. So should be, whether you've went down or not, doesn't matter, but you should be starting to get the effects of the stretch reflex easing off. So we're going to challenge you a wee bit. I'm going to get you to try and turn all the way to one side and see if you get your hand to the opposite side of your foot there. So come through into an open front split. Okay, open front split because the back leg is out to the side. True flip front split is when you roll over that way. We're just going to go a true front split, an open front split. We're going to come back. Try and stay as low as you can. We're going to pivot through and we're going to try and get out to the other side there. Try keeping both legs straight if you can. Eventually, you're going to get low enough that you're going to want to bend this leg to put it down to be able to get just to get a bit lower, but keep it straight for now so it's more active. This is still a static active because this is active holding me up. So static passive until you're all the way down. And then try and come through again. So bring that through, take the time. If you can even roll back and get a nice stretch up and overhead there. Coming all the way back through. And let's try that again. Reach up and over behind. You'll just get a great stretch through the front of the hip, side of the hip, pretty much everywhere. Come back to the middle. And then, I know you guys love this, so we're going to try it. Okay. Try sitting down. I don't think I can do Troy's magic trick where he can get up without using his hands just yet. But we're just going to pick ourselves up and down a few times if you can. So pick yourself up. As soon as you get up, get yourself back down. If you can't manage it, just sit and straddle, enjoy it. All that means is you've got to get wider to be able to get your hands. If you need a bit of help, put your hands onto something, a yoga block or a foam roller or something like that, something that's going to allow you to even just get your butt off the floor. So if you can't get all the way up, can you just put your hands behind you and push your heels into the floor and try and lift that butt off the floor. Hold it for a few seconds, come down, take your hands off, relax, rest, lift the butt up, hold it, push your heels into the floor to build some strength, some activation, and there. If you can manage it, see if you can get yourself all the way up, and then walk it back down. If you can manage this, maybe you can start getting your hands into the front and rock and push. Rock and push. Rock and push. Those little exercises are going to build up